You mentioned your upbringing then, and you mentioned that element of being a local lad and what it means to be a Scouser and up north, and you mentioned the words of good government and Hillsborough and all those factors that happened. Going to Liverpool, did you feel a sense of pressure being a local lad and going into an environment where you're representing a city and you know the meaning more than maybe other players that might not be from the area?
Yeah, I felt that later on in my career at Liverpool. Initially, I struggled to deal with the pressure of actually winning. I mean, it's one thing trying to win the Sunday League, local, whatever it is, trophy or whatever. It's another thing trying to win the league with Marine reserves. And then Bolton, you're obviously striving for promotion, which we got under Bruce Rioch. We got 2 promotions, ended up in the Premier League. And obviously the League Cup final where I played at Wembley, but I'd also played in the World Cup by the time I'd signed to Liverpool. Yeah. So I was kind of like equipped for certain scenarios, but I can't tell you that the pressure of signing for Liverpool, where you've got to win. You've just got to win. There is no place for second. The club's built on success, and it's built on this. Many a player have come through Liverpool's ranks at whatever level and, not been able to cope with that pressure. And that was the first thing that I noticed. It was like, you'd gone from playing for Bolton, and I was becoming a little bit of a star, to be honest. There was a lot of headlines, me and Alan Stubbs and Alan Thompson. We were making back page of the papers. We'd had some big results. We'd knocked Liverpool out the cup. We knocked Everton, Arsenal. I was heavily involved in all them games. So, I kind of knew what pressure was, but I wasn't equipped for like what Liverpool threw at you. Not at all. And it was quickly apparent that, you've got to step up. You've got to go to another level here. Yeah. What helped me was the squad was made. Liverpool were in a transitional period with Roy Evans and Graeme Souness. Roy had taken over from Graeme. Graeme tried to change the club. He tried to move the club forward into probably a different era, into a more modern era, coming back from Italy. And, he tried to change a lot. Plus, there was a lot of aging great players there who he wanted out. Yeah. Plus, he had the English rule had come in. We need so many English players. So Graeme tried to change too much too quick. Roy settled the ship but wanted to rebuild. And obviously that was from, obviously trying to find the best youngsters around. And he had a great base for that. Robbie and Steve McManaman had come through their School of Excellence Academy, their youth programme. And then, Jamie had come in. Don Hutchinson had gone. But then he bought Phil Babb after the World Cup. David James was still young. Rob Jones was young. And then he obviously brought me and Stan Collymore in the same season. So, we knew we had to compete with Manchester United, who had gone young as well. They'd kind of produced their kids, as you know, class of 92. So we were competing against them. So you could see what Roy was trying to do. And in all intents and purposes, kind of succeeded, really, although some would say we'd failed because we didn't actually win anything. But, we competed for 3 or 4 seasons against that Man United team. So yeah, it was just learning to cope with the pressure of what that football club's all about.
And did you sense that with the other Scousers? You mentioned Robbie Fowler and Steve McManaman. You mentioned that word pressure. Did they have similar outlooks towards that, or were you different in that sense? They were born into it, weren't they? Okay. They come through in a system where they trained with the likes of McMahon and Rush and all them great players, Molby, and they'd seen the club winning things, so they don't know any different. Yeah. I've had a couple of promotions, got to the League Cup final, ironically lost against Liverpool, but I still hadn't won anything. I got to the World Cup and stuff. It's great, and it's it's unbelievable. It's the peak of your career, isn't it, playing for your country in a World Cup? But I still haven't won anything. Winning something is such a vital, important ingredient in an elite athlete, because you feel you belong at the top. You feel, that's your playground. That's where you need to be. And if you win something, you've got over the line. You're the best. Unfortunately, I never. I won a playoff final, which was great, but it's still not. I could still look at my career and say I didn't win anything. So, but these players were born into that. They knew no different. So that's why Robbie and Macca were very special. They were different than the likes of me and Jamie. For all the quality all the other players brought, them two stood out. And the reason was, I think, is because they come through a system where they just knew. Just on that then. So why do you think there was a limitation in terms of winning trophies at that time at Liverpool. You mentioned that you kind of, I wouldn't say the word regret, but you wish you would have had won more.
Of course, yeah.
Why do you think that never happened at that time at Liverpool? You mentioned, you know, the old terminologies used around the Spice Boys period and all those different famous teams that were during that period. Why do you think that wasn't successful for you?
I think
that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, no one really has the answer to failure, do they? I mean, you know, now, you know, it's all data and stats, and you know, you can go through the haystack with a fine comb, can't you? You know, and find out more information now and find out why. Back then, you know, data analysis was very limited, and you know, who knows why? You know, was it mindset? You know, fine margin this way that we use in football now. You know, it was like that back then, but who knows what it was? You know, it certainly wasn't for the lack of trying or the lack of wanting to do it. You know, we competed really well. I mean, my career at Liverpool I finished third, fourth, third. You know, Arsene Wenger would treat that as success, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
His Arsenal team, Champions League football every season. They go, wow, so successful. Back then, it was only the champions played in Europe, and then it went to the top two. We just missed out. Got to an FA Cup final. We lost in the 82nd minute. Cantona scored. You know, everyone blames the white suits. You know, we weren't wearing the white suits to play. You know, we just turned up in a white suit, and you know, our mentality wasn't any different than any other game we went into. Probably more heightened because it was the FA Cup final.
Do you think that's exaggerated, the white suits?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, absolutely. I mean, I know Alex Ferguson uses. You know, we've obviously heard the story. He used that in his team talk to motivate his players. But listen, when you're at that level and you're going into an FA Cup final, you're in the zone, in your own zone. You're not in a team zone. You know, the manager can tell you everything he wants to tell you, but you're psychologically preparing yourself for that game. So you do what is comfortable for you. So you're in your own mindset. You could tell me whatever you wanted to tell me, and it would go in this ear and out the other. And 10 seconds later, I'd be back in my own mindset, trying to figure out how I'm going to play well, what drives me, gets the best out of me. You know, I went through a career looking for that. You know, I used to sit on the toilet sometimes. I remember playing Holland away in the Amsterdam Arena, sitting in the toilet just before we went out to play, just sitting on the toilet, looking at the door, the back of the door, talking to myself, going, "You're good enough to play in this game. You're good enough to play in this game. You'll play well today. You know, the last game you played, you were really good. That cross you put in, and just keep doing things like that. You know, mentally going through a thing just to get myself prepared. You could be telling me everything you wanted. I wouldn't be listening to you.
Really?
No, it's just, you know, it's just, it's what you, how you prepare yourself.